Mama?
Hi everybody, this is Emily for Help Me Mama, and I'm going to do my second birth story. Last time I did Owen's birth story. I love birth stories, they're the best. And I'm about ready to pop. I'm ready. I am so ready. I thought I was going to come earlier. I was a little grumpy. Now I feel like I'm sort of in it for the long haul, ready to be patient, but tonight, if it happens tonight, I'm happy. I'm just like 10 days early right now. So without further ado, this is Ry's birth story. I have to go a couple of days early because when Ryland was born, this was 3 years ago, we had just moved into this house. I was 8.5 months pregnant. It was May, I think 17th when we moved in, and I was super preggo, painting the walls with Owen literally in the baby backpack on my back, with the belts like way down underneath my big belly. And I remember he was on my back because he was biting me, and not a lot, but so it was nuts. I mean, I'm just thankful that I didn't have to lift the fridge up the stairs because it was crazy. So we were moving everything in. Our church was such a blessing to us as always, and our family helped bring everything in. So we moved, and I think it was the big work. I mean, I'm not one, even if I'm pregnant, to just like watch people carry my stuff into the house for me. I can't do that. I had to be lifting boxes and carrying everything up the stairs with them. So it's just, I couldn't let other people work and me not work. So I was working. And I think that the Lord gave my body just enough rest because we had moved in, I had put everything mostly away, started to do more normal things. Like the day he was born, my job was organizing closets, and that's like you're starting to settle in. So I had gotten rest. It was like 9 days later after we moved in, and I thought that my water might have broken. I wasn't totally sure. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, did it break? I think so. You know, sometimes you don't know. It's more of a trickle than a gush. That's what they say. And so I just kind of waited, and something in my mind had said, you have 24 hours after your water breaks to get to the hospital. Now, I was wrong about that. So that is not true. You should call your doctor if you're pretty sure that your water has broken, okay? Read the baby book on what to do. Don't do what I did. But I wasn't sure, and for some reason I thought, oh, I have 24 hours to do something about this. So I just went about my day, and I felt like, we just moved in. I have so much to do. I can't, like, if I'm having this baby today, I gotta get stuff done. And so I organized our closet, I set up the baby's bassinet, and I had Owen with me doing all this. I remember we went to Walmart to pick something up. We did a return at Target. We had another stop in between. Then I was supposed to babysit for this family at church, and so I went over there and I told the mom, I was like, I just want to let you know, my water might have broken. I have 2 people on call if labor begins, and you know these people. So I had like backups set up, and she was like, okay. And so anyways, while I was babysitting, and I had no contractions from 6 o'clock in the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I maybe had 3 contractions, but I really wasn't sure if they were Braxton Hicks or if they were real. So I was just really unsure. So about 2 o'clock, I'm babysitting, and I get a call from my doctor's office saying, hey, you have an appointment tomorrow, just a reminder. And so I said, hey, well, I have you on the phone. I think my water might have broken at like 6 a.m. this morning. What should I do? And so the nurse came back and said, you should go to the hospital now. And I said, well, I'm babysitting right now. Can I wait? And they said, no, please go to the hospital now. I said, really? Are you sure? Because I'm not having any contractions. I was having nothing, no pain, nothing. There wasn't really I was probably, TMI, was leaking a little bit. And they're like, no, if you're leaking, you need to go to the hospital. I think your water was probably broken. So I was like, okay. So I called my backups for babysitters. They came, I told them the story. And by that time, I looked like I had peed my pants, like more water had started to come out. So I was pretty sure that I needed to go to the hospital. So, or more amniotic fluid. So I left them there. I took Owen to my mom's house. Now, again, was having no contractions at all. Took Owen to my mom's house, again, without any clothes or a toothbrush or diapers or anything. They were left to fend for themselves because I just didn't feel sure, even though all signs were saying yes. But I wasn't having any contractions like I did the first time. So my mom's house was really close to the hospital, dropped him off. My brother, who was 15, could not drive and was stranded at the hospital because I was stranded at the hospital. He couldn't drive himself home. He came with me and then was just updating the family. And so I got in there and they're like, no, you're 3 centimeters dilated. We can feel the baby's hair. Your water definitely broke. I was like, but I'm not having any contractions. And so the nurse was like, I have never heard this phraseology ever before, but she told me she pulled on my cervix. I don't know what that is. Somebody told me it's the same as like stimulating the membranes. So I have never heard of it since, like I've never heard that terminology ever before or ever since, but that's what she did. And I was a little bit like concerned at first, and I was kind of like, whoa, what was that? What did she even do to me, right? But I am now thankful that she did, because I always have strep B, the group B strep, and that's not good for the baby to be in the birth canal for very long, especially without penicillin. And so I wasn't at the hospital getting penicillin for all that time, so it could have been very dangerous. Anyways, got penicillin. After she checked me, labor contractions started immediately. They were 3 to 4 minutes apart, right on top of each other, hard and fast. And Ryland's labor was the only time I ever had back labor. So that's why I always suggest the tennis ball is the best for back labor. You just rub it right here. Anyways, I need to put this in my bag right now. And so my husband, so that was like 3 o'clock when they finally checked me and labor started. I called Ivan and I was like, just come after work. His work was, at the time, was like 2 minutes away from the hospital, very centrally located, excuse me. And so he came at 5 o'clock. My brother was just kind of hanging around and checking in every once in a while. My poor brother, he was only 15. I can't believe he was only 15. And so then Ryland was born, I think about 8 o'clock. So that from the time contractions started at maybe 3, it was only 5 hours. It was super fast. Ryland, I would say, was my most painful labor, but also the fastest. And I remember, everybody came to the hospital again, my whole family. It's this big thing. But I remember my stepdad was in the waiting room. He could hear me screaming from the waiting room. I gotta tell you guys, I love screaming in labor. Like, I use somewhat of the Bradley method, but there just comes a point where you need to yell, where I need to yell. The Bradley method, they claim to be like this quiet thing, but there is a point, I think, right before the urge to push comes, there is nothing like that pain. So you just have to scream. And I gotta say, it feels really good to scream at that point. So anyways, Rai, we came out with 1 push. Rai came out with 4 pushes. And he felt like burning nautical knotted rope coming out of me. It hurt so bad. It's like being drawn and quartered there. It's just searing, like body ripping apart pain. But you get a baby afterwards, and they put him on me, And soon afterwards, you know, and this time I was curious to see what everything looked like. So I was like, hey, can I see all that stuff that comes out of my body? And they let me look at it. And I actually was like a little bit more aware this time of like, Ivan cutting the cord and things happening and watching. And I remember, and we have a picture of this, of the doctor holding Ryland and his whole body is like arched backward. It's just nuts. So I feel like I was more aware the second time around at the birth of what was going on. Even though I didn't have an epidural, I was like, there were things that I wanted to notice and remember and ask about. So I don't know, I think just the second time around I was able to do that a little bit more. And then Owie got to meet him. Owie meeting Rai for the first time. It's just, he was so excited to see me, I think, but we have this picture of Owen just reaching for Ryland and just, it's just the best. I mean, every relationship in your family is unique, and the relationship between Owen and I and Ryland and I and Owen and Ryland is unique, and it's just that those first moments are so precious. It's the start of a new life, for new relationships galore. It's amazing. Birth is amazing. So that is Rai's birth, and we had a pleasant hospital stay. They brought us cookies like on the hour. I love the hospital that Rai was born at. They kept him with me the whole entire time. We never parted. He was always arm's length away. The nurses were great. I think he did have jaundice because he was so early. He was 17 days early. Again, I think because of the big move. So that was the only complication, but they put the mask over his eyes and he was fine. It was scary, but jaundice is sort of a normal thing, and it happens. It passed quickly, and yeah, so that was Rai's birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will do Melly's next, and maybe the baby will come first. Who knows? Please pray. Please pray that the baby will come soon. Thank you. This is Emily for Help Me Mama.
Help me, Mama.